So they say this is a man-eat-man society and how politics is just vicious. But what they leave out is that politics is in everyday life. It's an everyday practice. So with me, I have Bruno, who is my friend and also is a very smart political analyst. Okay, he's smart in very many ways, but he's also a political analyst. So he will introduce himself and then we get right into today's topic, which is exploring the political geography of Kenya as it currently is. Welcome, my name is Chenyenyozi. Hi Bruno.
Hi Joy, pleasure to be here.
So tell me, who is Bruno?
Bruno is not a political analyst, I'm a political scientist. I know there is a big difference. And I work at the Central Organization of Trade Unions in Kenya. Yeah.
Right. So today we are speaking about the landscape of politics as it currently is. Yeah. It's very colorful. So give me a quick layout of what it looks like. I mean, with context, August elections.
Well,
context.
there's an election coming in a few months, and there are two sides at least. I know there are many people being said that it's not two sides. There are other players, there are Ruben Kigame and the rest who are also trying to contest. But predominantly we have two sides, as it has been since independence, I mean with the KANU and KADU. So there are two opposed sides and they're trying to battle it out, getting numbers, getting defections happening before the party hopping period is closed, I think, today. So that's just what it is. And people are talking about succession. The president is leaving, another president is coming, and everyone is wondering what's this new president coming, how does it look like, how will he secure our interests, because politics is about interests.
So basically, all we've been seeing, all this pizzazz has just been people party hopping, quite literally.
Kind of, because our kind of political system and our political parties, there is no discipline. For the reasons I supported personally the Political Parties Amendment Bill or Act of 2021, which tried to instill discipline in our political parties. I mean, talking about coalitions, because the way our society is, you can't do anything and win politics without forming coalitions since a long time, since the multi-party. I mean, that's how they discovered in 1992, where Moi got, 30%, and the other contestants got majority votes than Moi, so they discovered to win against an established candidate, a strong candidate, you need to have a coalition. So now these coalitions have been characterized with a lot of betrayals inside, and lack of discipline. So now the act came in to kind of instill some discipline, saying you guys won't just have an MOU between you, but you need to bring it to the office of the Registrar of Political Parties.
And how well is that working, given that so many, again, I like this term that I have just come up with, party hoppers, so many party hoppers have come under the larger umbrella of Azimio, right? How strong is this umbrella? Will it actually hold with so many people who've just come on board? All of these people came with different agendas. They came from different parties that already had their manifestos. Then they decided, okay, let's plug into this one and this one and this one. For how long will this hold? Can Azimio accommodate all these people?
Well, you see, the truth is time is the devourer of all things. You need to give it time. You can't dismiss it from the beginning. But as you rightly said, these are different individuals with different interests and different beliefs. I mean, different ideologies, if they have any, because ours is not a system where there are, political ideologies, but that they are that different. So you are bound to see a lot of, conflicts, internal conflicts, be it nominations or otherwise. But with how it has been set up, I believe it's one of the strongest coalitions we've had since. And now with unlike 2002, where there was a strong coalition equally, but there were no institutional frameworks to safeguard the sustainability of that coalition. I believe now with the Political Parties Amendment Act, and them having to deposit their agreement with the Register of Political Parties, I believe it will be sustainable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but of course there will be betrayals inside.
So it just might have fragmentation.
Politics is in politics the only constant is betrayal.
True.
Yeah.
There's that as well. So now my other question is, in the process of having, as you said, 2 headliners. I mean, there are other people, but they're headliners. And then this is March, but really elections are in August. There are very many other things happening inside the country, other than just concentration on politics. So what is in all this conversation, all this bedazzle, all this, political activity? What is in it for the citizenry?
It's quite, the truth is 2 things. Number one, hardly is there any politician who has the interest of people at heart. Number one, hardly. People are obsessed about getting power, and they make promises to that effect. So there are promises that have been floated out there, and these 2 different coalitions or groups have different philosophies they believe in, have different histories that they can be accounted to. One is progressive, one is not, depending on how you want to see it. But also largely, there are so many issues happening in the country that need to be reflected in the national stage,
right.
But they can only come to the extent that they're talking about what they seek to achieve. So moving forward, the second thing is there are promises that have been thrown on the table. Somebody is talking about bottom up, another person is talking about manufacturing, 6,000 social welfare programs. Those things, everything they're talking about touches on people, but they more majorly focus on getting power and how they'll give a perception that they are taking this power so that they can achieve the things for the citizenry.
They would do.
Yeah, but of course not everything will be done again.
So basically this just might be another illusion we're chasing, another mirage?
Not really, because there is no government that has come in and done to every
nothing.
promise that they have given out there. There are certain things that these people are talking about that it's impossible not to implement. Like
unless you actually try not to.
It's there are people. Unless you want to invite a revolution of sorts, because for instance, when Lele talks about his 6,000, there is no way he will win and not give the 6,000 to people he's talking about. I mean, how he gets the money is another discussion altogether. He has tried to explain, but to say that they will just get in and enjoy power without working for the citizens, that's sitting or walking on a landmine.
But then we have seen promises made to children. And I mean, for someone to break a promise to a child is a huge thing.
I know.
And it did not invite any revolution of any sorts. Those kids are now, I think, in class 7, sitting for the exam end of this year, and they still don't have any laptops.
I know.
Right? So it's nothing new. It's just, I mean, I get it when you say there are promises, so hopefully promises will be made. But also there's the aspect of unfulfilled promises that is like the larger picture. So even in all this conversation, should we just say, okay, sawa, at this point, politicians are taking care of their interests, and we should also, the citizenry should also take care of their interests up until August, when the attention is back to the citizenry?
Not really. Government is still working. I mean, healthcare is still being provided. KRA is still collecting tax, and a budget is. I know budget. The budget lines I've seen the Senate and the National Assembly. They're reading out. Budget is going to be, read out. Government is not run by politicians on campaign trails. They are technocrats who, work 24/7.
Supposedly.
Not supposedly. I mean, if Kenya was that, I many times I get disappointed when young people don't see. Many people, not just in Kenya, globally, they don't see the essence of government. They think governments don't work. But until you remove that infrastructure called government, then you realize how much a disaster it can actually be, that everything else runs or depends on government. Like, I mean, I'm a Christian personally, so it's like how atheists, they actually exist because God exists, because they want to say there is no God, because if there is no God, then there are no atheists.
I mean, that's another conversation.
It's another conversation, but I'm just giving it perspective. So those people who don't feel government serves their purpose, if government doesn't exist, then they will just feel it to the bones.
But I mean, I totally agree when you do not have state running an actual head of government of sorts, a symbol of power, something like that. So I think when persons ask for more, it's more of asking for a better, knowing that I am getting A, but I really could be having the whole alphabet, right? Because I have seen other people getting A to Z or A to J, and I'm still stuck at A. So, again, I deviate, but I was my detour was getting to this particular point. How do you see this shaping up? These are very few months actually towards the August elections. IEBC was supposed to reorganize and re-strategize and then come back together and overlook this, the process, the election process. How is this going to work? We have a very short time and there's a lot to be done.
I believe, election is not an event, it's a process. And IBC has been there since, 2013. Since Isaac left and Chebukati came in, Chebukati has been in office for quite a long time. And they just appointed a CEO who has been acting and has been deputy to Chiloba. So he's a person who actually knows what is being done.
Okay.
I understand there are election laws in the parliament being debated and submissions being made, especially on party hopping and all these things. They are still under debate.
Okay.
So there is a sense in which IBC has been in the process of preparing for the elections, because it's not a new team that is being
assembled.
Also campaigned for.
Right.
They have been in office to the extent that they have also failed on their part. Yeah, like a lot. I mean, if you are debating the election laws some few months to the election, then it means a lot. Also, to the extent that IBC is supposed to do civic education and all that, and nothing has actually been done, and the elections are just here, then it paints a picture of preparing to not preparing, thus preparing to fail.
A good preparing to fail.
Yeah.
So Bruno, we have said a lot of things, and you have educated me on a lot of things as well. But what are your parting shots?
Well, my parting shots, I don't know. Just thinking, if you want to know the person I support.
No. Okay, you can tell me. It will be my secret.
But what I want to say is, recently Martha Karua joined Raila Odinga in his Azimio la Umoja campaign.
Right.
And Makau Mutua professor said they never come that big. How the difference is like day and night.
Right.
Yeah, because you never get someone very progressive, and the two sides are diametrically opposed.
They're not the same. You can't even say the same. It's weird to say the same in the same sentence.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I would like to call on the young people. I know they are devoid of history. They don't like history. But, I mean, you can't know where you're going except you know where you're coming from. So I'm just inviting them to think, if a huge number of individuals who've been there, who've been in the political space, are actually agitating for one thing, and they're on one side, and there's another side full of young, vibrant people who don't want to talk anything about history or about what they are actually doing right now. I'm just calling on the young people to think, critically. What is it these old folks? There's something called the wisdom of the old folks.
But also there's foolishness.
There is also foolishness, but it can't be collective foolishness to this extent that these old folks have seen something. And they are from different sides. I mean, there are governors, there are those in the academy, there are those in the politics, business, and they are all coming together towards one thing. And I'm just thinking the difference is actually so big. So it depends on what you want. But before you actually pick a side, think through it, see the difference, what is light, what is darkness. Don't be swayed by the winds.
Okay, thank you. Don't be swayed by the winds.
Yeah.
And with that, we will end this conversation here at don't be swayed by the wind. Let's just think critically about this. Take your time. There is no rush. August is still far, right?
Not far.
Not far. Okay,
it's here.
True. Fair enough.
Yeah.
My birthday. Okay, no, that's not very important. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please leave a comment, converse with us, engage us, ask questions, inform us on what you know that we don't know, what educate us on our social media platforms, Discourse KE, across all platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Cool. So I will see you on the next episode. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.